So should I should I begin?
No, just a minute. Um, okay, so good afternoon, and I welcome you all to this Saturday meeting for continuing to read our Samasa section. And I'm happy to note here that Professor Bhate's tenure now has been extended by another month, so we have opportunity to complete the remaining part of this course, and I'm really thankful to the Kensei Foundation for their kind acceptance, and to the Honorable Vice Chancellor for his kind approval. So we are really fortunate to have Professor Bhate for one more month now. So with these words, with all of you, let me welcome Professor Bhate and to request her to start today's reading. So thank you, madam. Yeah, please carry on.
Thank you, Mahesh. And hello, everyone. And thanks also to Kensei Foundation and University of Pune for giving me this extension. I thank all of you in advance for bearing on with me for a few more sessions. As I suggested today morning only, we are going to read some part from Kashika 3-4 first. Then we will switch over to the corresponding section from Chandra. And then further we continue with Kashika, Samasa section. This is my plan. So I hope you already have the relevant portion from Kashika in front of you. I begin with 3:4:59, as I said. And the rule 59 says, Avyaye ayathabhipretakhyaane kriyaha tvarnamulau. So, Talat, you can display the paper now.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Please wait here.
I'll read out the commentary. Avyaye upapade yatha pretabhikshyane gamyamani karotehe tvanamulau bhavataha. So this rule is about prescribing two suffixes, twa and namul, in a particular context. We already know when the suffix twa is added. That rule is Samana Kartrukayoho Purvakale, and that is 3:4:21. When there are two actions, one of them being belonging to the earlier time, and when both of them share the same agent, then the suffix twa is added to the root conveying the action which takes place in the earlier period. This is Samana Kartrukayoho Purvakale. It's a very, very general suffix about twa. This rule is followed by a group of rules which teach the suffix namul in certain suffixes instead of twa. And then further, there is a group of sutras which prescribe both twa and namul in a particular context. So this rule is one such rule which begins with the section which teaches both the suffixes in a few restricted contexts. This rule says, when an indeclinable avyaya is upapada, avyaye upapade, and when that which is not intended is conveyed, ayathabhipreta akhyana. Something is to be conveyed, and that something is not really intended. That means it is exactly opposite to what is intended. Ayathabhipreta akhyane. And in that particular context, ktva or namul is added to root kru. Avyaye ayathabhipretakhyane kriyaha ktva namulau. And the example is in the form of a dialogue between two persons. Brahmana putraste jataha. O Brahmin, a son is born to you. Kim tarhi vrushala nichaih kritya achakshe. Vrushala here means a wicked person, or you may call him a rascal. In English, when we want to abuse a person, generally we use this word rascal. So, oh rascal, why do you say it in a very low voice? Kim tari vrushala nichaih kritya achakshe, nichaih krutva achakshe. In the form nichaihi kritya, we have lep in place of tva, because there is a samasa. And nichaihi krutva is a samasta expression. Then further we have nichaihi karam. This expression, of course, it is also not samasa. Karam is derived from root kru with the suffix namul. So nichaihi karam. Three expressions are there. Nichaihi krutya, nichaihi krutva, and nichaihi karam. How this samasa is formed, etc. All these things we will deal with in samasa section. Uchair nama priyamakhayam. Whatever is to be priya, whatever is to be desirable, agreeable, pleasing, delighting, is to be expressed in a very high sound, a high voice, loudly. So this has to be said, "Oh Brahmana putraste jataha." So it has to be said in a loud voice. But instead of that, this vrushala, this person, tells him in a very, very low voice, "Brahmana putraste jataha," like this. Exactly opposite example is given in the next line. Brahmana kanyate garbhini. O Brahmin, your daughter is pregnant. Kim tarhi vrushala uchchaih kritya achakshe. Uchchaih kritva uchchaih karam. And then he further says, nichaihi nama apriyam akhyayam. So kanya being garbhini, kanya is a daughter, but she is unmarried, and therefore she is kanya. And even then she is pregnant, and therefore this is something which needs to be hidden. It should not be expressed, and it should not be said in a loud voice. And even then this person vrushala speaks in a loud voice, and therefore Brahmana scolds him. Why do you say it in a loud voice? Kim tarhi vrushala uchchaih kritya achakshe, uchchaih kritva achakshe, uchchaihi karam achakshe. नीचैः नाम अप्रियम् आख्येय. अयथाभिप्रेताख्याने इति किम्? उच्चैः कृत्वा आचष्टे पुत्रस्ते जातः इति. So here it is yathavipreta akhya. As it is abhipreta, as it is intended, both actually by the speaker and the listener. So such expressions, they are uchchaihi krutva. So there is no ayathavipreta akhyana, and so no samasa here. In earlier case, there was a samasa, and therefore we had left in place of ktva. So we had this expression nichai kritya. Ktva grahanam kim? Yavata sarvasminneva atra prakarane vasarupena ktva bhavati iti uktam. Now this particular question refers to the repetition of the suffix ktva. Why is the word ktva is mentioned in this rule? Why it should not be mentioned is the question. And the answer is sarvasminneva atra prakarane vasarupeण tva bhavati iti uktam. Atra prakarane refers to dhatvadikara. So in the whole of the dhatvadikara, there is a vasarupa vidhi. And vasarupa vidhi refers to the rule vasarupaha astriyam, which is 3494. We have already seen that second dhatvadikara begins with 3191, and this rule comes after that, and it says that in this particular dhatvadikara, which runs over the whole of the third chapter, any suffix which is asarupa with the suffix which is taught by the utsarga rule optionally takes place. Va asarupa. Asarupa is paraphrased as a samana rupa, not having the same form. And the commentary says, Asmin dhatvadikare asamana rupaha apavada pratyayaha va badako bhavati. Except in striya adhikara. So he says astriyam. Say, for instance, you are already acquainted with these kritya suffixes, tavyat, tavya, niyaraha. So we have three suffixes, tavyat, tavya, and aniyar. They are taught by the general rule because there is no any other condition. So to each and every root, they are applicable. So we have kritya, then kartavya, and karaniya. And then further we have the rule acho yat, ajanta dhatoho yat pratyaya bhavati. So this is yet another kritya suffix which has a sarupa character because it is simply yo, whereas tavyat is different. It has tavya as its form. Similarly, the other tavya also has the same form, tavyat, and there is third one, aniyar. So side by side with these three general pratyayas, tavyat, tavya, and aniyar, we also can add the suffix yat. And thus we can have four derivatives from the root through kartavya, kartavya, only with the difference of accent, and karaniya, and further karya. So this is the effect of vasarupa vidhi. And this governs the whole of this dhatvadikara. So wherever we come across any asarupa pratyaya, it optionally takes place in the same context. So this is in a way apavada of this utsarga apavada rule. Utsarga, actually it is not a rule, it is a paribhasha, but whatever, it actually is used as a rule. Yena naprapteyo vidhihi arabhyate satasya badoko bhavati, and so on and so on. And thus we find all these optional applications of asarupa pratyayas. And therefore, this question is asked, when we have tva already stated by the general rule, which covers all the cases actually, whenever there is a samana kartrukatva and whenever there are two actions, the suffix tva is added, that is 2 to 21. And here in 59, the suffix namul is taught. Namul and ktva, they are asarup with each other. And therefore, optionally, ktva also can take place in the same context because it is the utsarga rule. So there is a relation of utsarga and apavada with ktva and namul. So it can, since it can optionally take place by the rule vasarupostriyam, what is the necessity of repeating or mentioning tva again in this rule 59? So this is what is to be understood from this question. Tva grahanam kim yavata. Yavata means since, because sarvasminneva atra prakarane vasarupena tva bhavati ityuktam. And the answer is samasartham vachana. So this statement of tva is made here for the sake of samasa. and he further explains how it is meant for samasa. तथा च क्त्वा च इत्यस्मिन् सूत्रे तृतीया प्रभृति अन्यतरस्याम् इति वर्तते. We are going to read this rule actually immediately after we finish this section, but let me tell you just a summary of this. Tvacha is a rule in second chapter of second adhyaya which teaches samasa of an upapada with the following derivative ending in ktva in a particular context. Which context? Whenever there is an upapada beginning with tritiya prabhrutini anyatarasya, and all the rules dealing with such upapadas, whenever they teach this suffix tva, in all such cases a samasa takes place. So it means that only this tva, which is taught in these rules, Tritiya Prabhuti Nyanyatarasam, etc., is compounded, and not any other tva which is taught by, say, general rule like as we have seen, Samana Kartupahyo, Tum Purvakalek tva, etc. So samasa with tva is restricted to certain context, and in order to obtain that context, ktva is mentioned. This is what he says here. Samasartham vachanam ktva cha iti asmin sutre tritiya prabhuti nyanyatarasyam iti vartate namul adhikare punar namul grahanam tulya kakshatva jnapanartham. In the section dealing with namul is again repeated there. He says namul adhikare tavat Punarnamul Grahanam Tulya Kakshatva Jnapanartham. Here, the mention of Namul is meant to indicate Jnapana, its Tulya Kakshatva, it's being on the same level with Ktva. So both are continued together in the subsequent rules. They are sahacharita, and therefore they are also anuvrutta together. This is what is understood from Tulya Kakshatva. Namul adhikare punar namul grahanam Tulya Kakshatva jnapanartham tena uttaratra dvayoho api anuvrittir bhavati. If we say only ktva and say avyaye ayatha pretakhyane kriyaha ktva, and we say cho, because namul is continued from the previous context. From 81 we can have namul by anuvritti and say we say ktva cho. In that case, in the subsequent rules, say 60, 61, etc., only ktva will be continued. We will not have namul. Since we want both these suffixes ktva and namul also in the following rules, both of them are mentioned here together. Namul adhikare punar namul grahanam tulya kakshatva jnapanartham tena uttaratra dvayorapi anuvrittir bhavati. So this is all about avyaye ayatha vipretakyane kriyaha tvanamulo. Now when tva is taught by a general rule like samana kartrukayoho purvakale, we don't have a samasa of that tvanta with the previous word. Say, for instance, we have an expression like odanam bhuktva vrajati. In that case, we don't have a samasa of odana with or odanam with bhuktva, and we cannot say odana bhujya gacchati or vrajati. The next tool is tiryak shyapavarge. Tiryak shabde upapade kriyaha tvanamulo pratyayo bhavata. Again, the context is restricted to the root kruin since 59, since the previous rule. So tva and namul, they are added to the root kru when the word tiryak is an upapada, and there is one more condition which is a meaning condition, and that is apavarge gamyamani. When apavarga is understood, conveyed, or it is actually understood from the whole samasa. Apavargaha samapti. Apavarga refers to accomplishment of a particular action. So when the action is complete, or the finishing of the action is actually intended by the expression. So the example is tiryak krutyagataha. Now what is this word tiryak? It is obviously an avyaya, tiryak. I have given the derivation of this word on the paper. It is actually derived from another avyaya, which is tiras, which means oblique, slightly bent, etc. Tiraha anchati. He goes in a crooked manner, or on a crooked path. Tiras ancha. Originally the root is ancha, so there is no. And then the suffix is quin. By the rule with Rutvik Dadruk Sarak Divushnik Anshu Vijukta Inchancha. Here we have reference to Anshu, the root Ancha or root Anicha, 3 to 59. Then this quin is dropped, by several rules, and then there is finally Vera Pruktasya. And by the rule Anijitam Halo Upadhayaha Miti, we have this the nalopa of Anicha, it is Upadhayaha Nakarasya Lopa Bhavati. Then Tirasastirialope, Tirasastiri alope, 6.3.94 teaches the dropping of a, deletion of a, the substitute of tiri in place of tiras. So we have tiri ach. Then this sa is obviously dropped, which is sa which is added to this avyaya. So we have tiriyach, which changes into tiryaj by Jhalam Jashonte, which further changes into tiryag by Quin Pratyasya Kuhu. Jhalam Jashonte 8239 or 39. Quin Pratyasya Kuhu is 8262. And then we have Chartva, that is Ga optionally changing into Ka, and thus we have the form Tiryak. This Chartva is optional by the rule 8456. I want Anita, if she is present in today's class, particularly to note the sequence of these rules in the 8th chapter, which is Asiddha Kanda. And so Panini has very carefully put all these 3 rules in the context or in the sequence in which they are intended to be applied. So this is how Tiryak is derived, and literally it should again mean obliquely or some such thing. But Kashika specific, not Kashika, actually it is the commentary on Kashika, specifically tells us that the meaning of the constituents does not really contribute to the meaning of the samasa. Padamanjari, yes, Padamanjari here says, Vyutpatti matram chaitat, natu atra avayavarthaha asti, samudayo hi ayam apavarge vartate. So atra avayavarthaha tiryak krutvagataha is very different, making it oblique, as he went obliquely, something like that. But the whole samasa tiryak krutyo refers to apavarga samapti. So he went away by completing the task, whatever was assigned to him. So tiryak krutyagataha, tiryak krutvagataha, and also tiryak karangataha. All these 3 expressions, they mean samapyagataha ityarthaha. Apavarge iti kim? Tiryak krutva kashtham gataha. Sumesh, here we have not kandam but kashtham. Slightly different, maybe due to some orthographic or scribal. I don't want to use the word error.
Which one would be better? I mean, it's very difficult to judge.
Sorry?
Maybe
Better.
kandam is used more often, right? Rather than
Yes.
kashtam. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I think it's very difficult to decide. We don't know.
Tiryak krutma kashtam gata means there is slightly there is a slight difference between kashta and kanda actually. So he went after making this kashta or kanda, whatever it is, slightly oblique. Anyway, I really don't know what exactly was intended by the authors of Kashika, whether it was kanda or kashta, but certainly it has reference to the scribal peculiarity, you can say. The next point is Tiryachi iti shabdanukaranam, and that is referring to the expression Tiryachi in the rule. The question is asked why the word Tiryak or Tiryach is used in a wrong grammatical form Tiryachi. Because the Pratipadika Tiryak, the Pratipadika Tiryak in the locative would be derived with the suffix ni, and the form would be Tiraschi and not Tiryachi. So instead of using Tiraschi, why it is said Tiryachi, which is a wrong form? So with this question in mind, the commentary gives a reply, Tiryachi iti shabdanukaranam. Tiryachi is not the locative form of the Pratipadika Tiryach, but it is the form of the Anukarana word Tiryach. So Tiryachi means Tiryak Shabde, and therefore it means in the word Tiryach. Tiryak Shabde Upapade. And therefore we don't have the regular form Tiraschi. Because in that case, when locative is added, we'll have alopo also by the rule achaha 64138. And if there is alopo, the form would be tiras ainch e, tiras ach e, tiras cha e, and then tiraschi by stoschanaschuru. So instead of using the regular form, why does Pandini use this form? The answer is it is just a shabdanukaranam. And nahi prakritivad anukaranena bhavitavyam. So we have two different paradigms of one and the same word, which is used as a pratipadika, when it is used as a pratipadika and when it is used as an anukarana. So tiryak or tiryach, when it is used as a pratipadika, the form would be tirachchi, and when it is used as a shabdanukarana, the form would be tiryachi. Simply tiryach plus e becomes tiryachi. No further rules which refer to the Pratipadika Tiryach are applicable to the Anukarana Tiryach. And then he gives a couple of examples from Panini's sutras themselves, where the Anukarana Shabda is derived in a different manner. Anukriyamana Rupa Vinasha Prasangat. So if you use the regular Pratipadika form, then its character as an Anukarana word will be completely vanished. Anukriyamana Rupa Vinasha Prasangat. It will be destroyed. And the example is Etadaha Ash Adasaha Mat Iti. So Etadaha, again here we have an Anukarana of Etad. So Etadaha means in place of Etad. So Etadaha इत्यस्य कः अर्थः एतद् इति शब्दस्य स्थाने. Similarly, adasomat also means adas shabdat. or adasya shabdasya, adasya, yes, adas shabda, adaso mat. So if we insist that the regular grammatical forms of these two Pratipadikas must be used by Panini also, then Panini was expected to use in place of etadaha, etasya, which is a regular genitive singular form of etat Pratipadika. Similarly, amushya in place of adasaha, but Panini quite often uses such forms of these words when they are anukarana forms, and there are actually so many of them. Panini uses them as in their own rupa, swam rupam shabdasya, and therefore such forms they actually abound in Panini Sutras. So Tiryak here is also used not as a Pratipadika but as an anukarana of a certain Pratipadika. This is the point. The next rule 61 is Swange tas pratyaye krubhoho. Tas pratyayo yataha swangat tad evam uchyate. Yataha nama yasmat. Yasmat swangat tas pratyayah vihitaha tat swangam evam uchyate ityasya kah artha evam tas pratyayah or tas pratyayam iti uchyate. In other words, tas pratyaya is a bahuvrihi compound. Tas pratyayah yasmat saha tas pratyayah. Tas pratyayah yasmat tat tas pratyayam swangam. Tas pratyaya is an adjective of swanga. Swanga is one's own limb part, avayava. Tas pratyaye swangavachini upapade karotehe bhavatescha dhatuhu tvanamulav pratyayo bhavataha. So here it is not restricted to the context of kru alone, and therefore he says krubhoho, kru and hu together, because both of them again are supposed to be continued in the next two. So they are mentioned together. When an upapada which denotes a swanga, a limb of body, and which ends in tas pratyaya. Tas pratyaye swangavachini upapade. And then karotehe bhavatescha dhatuhu tvanamulo pratyaya. Of course, in all these sutras, the context is the same. The meaning of tvanamula also is the same. Yatha sankyam atra neshyate aswaritatvat. Whenever there are two nimittas, two conditions and two suffixes, or even more than two, and they are in the equal number, then the Yatha Sankhya Nyaya applies there. There is a rule in the Ashtadhyayi, Yatha Sankyam Samuddeshas Samanam, Yatha Sankyam Anudeshas Samanam. And if we follow the rule, in that case, Tva will be added to Kru and Namul will be added to Bhu. Krubhoho Ktvanamulav. But this is not intended here, says Kashika. Yatha Sankyam atra neshyate aswaritatvat. Because there is no swarita put on this word, perhaps krubhoho, aswaritatvat. According to this commentary, it appears that swarita was supposed to be the indication of Yatha Sankhya application for them. Somehow, they use Svaritatva also as a device, and that we have already seen. Commentary doesn't say anything about Swarita. Commentary simply says here, Vyakhyanat. Padamanjari says Vyakhyanat, because this is what we have to understand from the interpretation of the earlier commentators, which is handed down to us. So the example is Mukhataha Krutya Gataha. Mukhataha is derived from the Swangavachaka shabda mukha with the suffix tas, which is a tadita suffix added to mukha when it is used in the locative. So I have, did I give it here? No, it's all right. Not very difficult to understand. This is actually sarva vibhaktika tasihi. Sarva vibhaktikas tasihi is the comment made by the commentators on the rule pratiyoge panchamyas tasihi, which is 5444. Yeah, I have given the rule and also I have given the vartika. Actually, by the vartika, the suffix tasi is added here because there is no rule in Panini Ashtadhyayi which teaches the suffix tas in the sense of locative. It is added only in the sense of ablative, panchamyaha tasihi, and then pratiyoge panchamyas tasi is the rule actually. But then there is a vartika, adyadibhyaha upasankhyanam. So words in the adyadi list take the suffix tas, not only in the sense of panchami, but in any other case, in the meaning of any other case. This is what we understand from the comment, sarva vibhaktikas tasihi. And therefore, commentators try to derive the word mukhataha by adding the suffix tas in the sense of locative. So mukhataha means actually mukhe. Mukhe krutva, mukhataha krutva. Very difficult to understand. Mukhataha krutva, mukhe krutva. So does it mean putting in the mouth? Mukhe krutva, mukha. Apparently yes. Mukhatah krutya gataha, mukhataha krutva gataha, and mukhatah karang gataha. And then also for bhu, mukhato bhuya tishtati, mukhato bhutva tishtati, and mukhato bhavam tishtati. Further, prushtatah krutya gataha, prushtatah krutva gataha, prushtatah karang gataha, prushtato bhuya gataha, prushtato bhutva gataha, and prushtato bhavam. So in all these cases, a swanga vachi shabda ending in tas is an upapada. About the meaning, of course, I'm not sure. Somehow we have to understand it from the context. But you know, even commentators, they are not of the same opinion about the meaning of this word mukhataha. Mukhataha, as I mentioned, Padamanjari is to be understood in the locative sense, so mukhe, whereas Nyasa quotes another rule, apadane ahiya ruhoho, that is 5445, and he says apadane ahiya ruhoho iti tas pratyaya. And according to this, mukhataha would mean mukhat. Even then, what would be the meaning of this expression mukhataha krutyagataha, which means mukhat krutyagataha? Well, I'm sorry, I simply can't explain it. Swange iti kim? Sarvataha krutva gataha. Sarvataha is derived from the word sarva, which is not a swanga, and therefore no samasa takes place here. Sarvatah krutva gataha. Maybe he has scattered something everywhere, in all places. Tasgranam kim? Mukhi krutyagataha. So here we have a chvi form, and we already have a samasa with chvi word. Amukham mukham krutvagataha, something like this. Mukhi krutyagataha, mukhi bhuyagataha. By the rule uryadi chvidachasya, this mukhi becomes an avyaya, and there is a samasa. It becomes a gati, sorry. Mukhi bhuyagataha. Pratyaya grahanam kim? Why do you want tas as a pratyaya in this context? Because he says swange tas pratyaye. A swanga ending in the suffix tas. There could be a swanga ending in tas, but that tas might not be suffix. And such example he has found. प्रत्ययग्रहणं किं मुखे तस्यति इति. This is again a very, very artificial example, which is typical of these commentaries. So, mukhatah here is derived as a verbal derivative with mukha as an upapada, and the root is tassa. And tassa in the Divadi Gana, in the Chaturtha class, means upakshaya, decay, tasu upakshaye. So, mukha tas quip. The suffix quip, which is a very, very general suffix, which is taught also by the rule annebhyopi drushyate. And thus we have the form mukhatas, and mukhatas is a verbal derivative. Mukhe tasyati yaha saha mukhatah. One who decays, tasa means to decay, or one or that which decays or disappears in the mouth would be the etymological meaning of mukhatas. Mukhatas means that which disappears in the mouth. So, anything which after we swallow gets dissolved in the mouth, any kind of, say, pill or even sugar cubes, mukhatah. So he went away, or he went making it disappear in the mouth. Mukhatah krutva gataha. Somehow, they try to justify Panini's reading of Panini's Sutra. So the mention of tas pratyaya appears to be redundant here, but they have found an example where it appears to be purposeful. The next tool is nadhartha pratyaye shvyarthe. नार्थो धार्थश्च प्रत्ययः यस्मात् सः एवं उच्यते. नाधार्थ प्रत्यये शब्दे श्व्यर्थे उपपदे कृभोर धातोः क्त्वाणमूलौ प्रत्ययौ भवतः. So when a word conveying the same meaning as that of a chvyanta, which ends in either ends in the suffix either na or dha, is an upapada. Nadhartha pratyaye means na pratyaye, nartha pratyaye, dha pratyaye, dhartha pratyaye, shabde shvarthe upapada. So two adjectives for that upapada. It ends in either na suffix or dha suffix, either in a suffix which conveys the same meaning as na, or in the ending in the suffix conveying the same meaning as the suffix dha, and which is further used in the same sense as chi. Chvarthe upapade. In that case, both kru and bhu take the suffix ktva or namul. And the example is anana nana krutva gataha. Nana means many or different. So he made things different, or he separated them when they were not separate. Anana nana krutva gataha. Nana, dictionary meaning of nana is differently adverbial, in different ways or different places. Anana nana krutva gataha, nana krutya gataha, nana krutva gataha, nana karang gataha. So we have three expressions: nana krutva, krutya, and why he repeats this krutva, I don't know. Here he has nana krutva, he has mentioned nana krutva gataha, nana krutya gataha, nana krutva gataha again, and nana karang gataha is not really needed according to me. Vina krutyagataha, vina krutvagataha, vina karanam. And vina means either without or in the absence of. So he made something. Of course, something has to be added here. Some more kinchit.
So, I mean, are these words like na pratyayanta, vina nana,
Yeah,
or?
I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain
Yeah.
it very well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Presently, I'm coming to that. Okay, let me finish these examples first, and I'll come to these derivations. Nana bhuyagataha, nana bhutvagataha, nana bhavangataha, because they are just repetitions. Vina bhuyagataha, vina bhutvagataha, vina bhavangataha. Vina and nana are derived from the words vi and nay respectively. And there is a rule, vinay bhyam na nayav na sah. Rule 5.2.27 teaches two suffixes, na and nai. Actually, they are sarupa. The suffix is just na. In one case, it is without the anubandha nya, and another case, it is with the anubandha. And they say it is a swarthika suffix, but still the meaning is there, and that meaning is na saha. Na saha means not together, which further means separately. So vinayabhyam nana yav na, so it's a taddhita derivative. So we have vi followed by the suffix na, which derives the word vina, and vina conveys pruthak bhava, separation, asah artha, na sah. Similarly, na, both vi and na, they are particles, followed by the suffix, nay, not na, nay. Vinayabhyam, he says. So we have the nay, particle nay with the suffix na or nai. Here we have yatha sankhya. So we takes na and nay takes nai. Nay, na, nai, and because of this anubandha ya, there is adi vriddhi, so no becomes na, and thus we have the derivative nana. In both the cases, na sah is the meaning understood not by the suffix but by the derivative or prakruti maybe. This is how commentary explains here. I am na pratyayarthaha kintu prakrutyarthaha. So these are the derivations of these two words, vina and nana. Further, he gives
Just a question. I mean,
yeah.
don't they just appear like the unadis? I mean, I don't understand why Panini really feels it necessary to derive these words like this. I mean, can't we simply treat them as avyayas? I mean, what's that? Is there any advantage or is there any kind of special reason for why these words are derived and not taken as underived forms?
Why should he take it as underived forms? Why do you insist on? If Panini can derive them with these suffixes very easily, if they are very commonly used in the language, and he can attach some meaning like Nasah to them, why shouldn't he? I mean, if Panini wants to write grammar, he's Swatantrechasya Munehe. So you cannot force on
But
Panini.
like Swatantra Ichha is the only thing. Is there any other reason for this? I mean, of course, I
Yes,
mean, the same question could be asked also about the unadis. I mean, why those are not included here? Those are.
Unadis will be a way. If you try to derive it with unadis, then you will have first of all to decide the root, because all unadis are krudantas. So which root you are imagining here in Vina and Nana? Vi, na. Such roots, they don't exist. We at least, vi and na at least exist as particles. So actually Panini is going very close to Yaska here. He finds the word vina he finds another word nana, and he tries to split them into two, prakriti and pratyaya. And he can very easily attach the suffix nasa, because this is what he tries to, what he can find as something common between the two. Nasah, not together, because both vina and nana, they share this meaning, they convey separation. Even in vina, you understand the same meaning, separating oneself from something. Tena vina aham gacchami. Similarly, nana karoti, what does it mean? It is spread into many. It is done into many. So one into many, that is again separating. And maybe Panini might have thought that it is necessary to derive them because they are very commonly used in Sanskrit. If you cast a glance at these unadis, you will find that they are rare things, or pretty unusual. They cannot really derive regularly with the help of regular procedure, prakriya. And such awkward derivations you will come across in Dita, particularly Swartika section. For instance, there are a large number of words derived from Nasika. Do you remember, Mesh? Nati Nasikayaha, Tite, Nataj, Britajaha. And there are so many other suffixes also. So what kind of suffix is this? Tite, Nate, Britaj. And in the sense of Nate Nasikaya. A person with a flat nose.
Yeah. Yes.
Very interesting expressions you will find. So in all such cases, I always feel that there is a strong correspondence between Panini and Vyasa. Sometimes, there is a doubt in my mind because I'm trained in S.D. Joshi's discipline. I feel that they are later insertions in the Ashtadhyayi. But I just keep quiet because they existed even in Katyayana's time.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to understand. I mean, what might be his own kind of principle to decide which words to derive and which words not to derive? Because of course, I mean, as a grammarian, I mean, grammarian's imagination can go. I mean, as Yaska did. I mean, he derived words from a single syllable and things like this. So I was just wondering. I mean, are there any other avyayas like this which are also derived by Panini? I mean, can we really find some kind of logic behind this? So that's basically my main intention when I ask this question.
Yes. And my answer, which I gave you, was that certainly there is a small section of words in the derived by the rules in the Ashtadhyayi, which are of this nature. If you read Swartika, particularly Swartikas and Atyanta Swartikas, you will come across words like this, as I said, Nate Nasikaya, and this Devadatta being, further reduced as Deviyo, Devilo, Ilach, Iyach. Very strange words are derived by Panini. But maybe perhaps Panini feels that yes, I have of course, Ashtadhyayi as a whole has definitely some logic. So when a large group of words does share some common procedure of derivation. For such a large group, he gives one general rule and then some exceptions. Of course, all this is based on common meaning. Like as you say, in Krutya suffixes, in Krut suffixes, any other place. So generalization always is at the foundation of Panini's derivative procedure. But apart from that, also he gives certain derivations which are of a particular character. But since they are very commonly used, maybe in the language which was spoken during his time, he found it necessary to somehow explain them. That's the only logic. And he could maybe such derivations already existed in the grammars which he used, and he simply drew upon them. That is also possible. It's very difficult to explain.
Yeah.
They come from many, or they come from his
Yes.
Another.
Yeah.
Moreover,
Okay. Thank you.
There are a few more expressions also. We have to believe that such usages existed in Panini's time. When he gives a rule like, say, nadhartha pratyaya chvarte, then we have to believe that expressions like nana kritya, nana krutva, nana karam, because there are particular expressions here. Vina and nana are the words which are intended here. In order to explain this rule, nadhartha pratyaya chvarte, with a full-fledged commentary, and by full-fledged commentary means examples also. They have given a definition of a full-fledged commentary, Vyakhyanam, by Patanjali himself, which means that a full-fledged commentary is that which gives a word-to-word explanation along with examples and counterexamples. That is a Vyakhyana. So if this rule is to be interpreted in a full-fledged commentary, then naturally we are expecting examples. And when we are expecting examples, these examples straight away come forward. Vina kritya, nana kritya, vina karam, nana karam. So they must have been there in the usage that was known to Panini. If these rules, then we have to say that these rules are post-Paninian. And then these words also appear in the language that was post-Paninian. But for both these conjectures, we don't have any direct evidence. We don't have any attested evidence, even in the post-Paninian literature. So far, I haven't come across any such example like Nana Kritya Vina. Maybe in Bhatti Kavya or similar other Kavya, but not in the earlier literature. We have to find if it is there in Vedic literature or in ancillary literature, ancillary to Vedic literature. Say Shraudha Sutras, Dharma Sutras, etc. And further, these commentators do not stop with Vina and Nana, but they say Arthe also. So if there is any pratyaya in the sense of Nartha or Dhartha, that is Nasaha, even in that case, this Namul and Ktwa, they are added. And this Nartha, for Nartha or Dhartha, he gives an example here. Dvidha Krutyagata. For Nartha, there is no other suffix. Na is the only suffix. But for Nai, I think there is this one. Dvidha Krutyagata, because in case of Dvi, there is a suffix Dha, which according to commentators, they convey a similar meaning, or maybe the same meaning as, no, here we have Dha itself. It is further, Dvaidham Karangata. So Dha, Na, along with Na, there is another suffix Dha which is mentioned in the Sutra, and we have the example Dvi Dha. And the rule is Sankhyayaha Vidharthe Dha. The suffix Dha is added to a numeral in the sense of Vidha, and Vidha means kind. The commentary says Kriya Prakararthe Vartamanat Sankhya Shabdat. Swarthe Da. So this is also a Swarthika suffix 5342. Sankhya Vidharthe Da. I think I mentioned it on my paper. Yes, I have. So Dvidha means Dvip Prakarabhyam or Prakaradvayeno. Vidha Prakara, kind, mode, manner, in a twofold manner, in a twofold mode or in two kinds. So when we refer to vidha or prakara, we use the suffix dha. As we have vina and nana, we also have dvidha, tridha, chaturdha, panchadha, and so on. And the examples are dvidha krutyagataha, dvidha karangataha, dvidha krutvagataha, dvidha bhuyagataha, dvidha bhutvagataha, dvidha bhavangataha. Now, the meanings you try to understand yourself, and if you find any examples good, you will be happy, and I also will be happy if you share them. And then, as I said, dvaidham krutyagataha, dvaidham krutvagataha, dvaidham karangataha, etc. These are the examples of the further modifications in the suffix dha. So here we have dhamui in place of dha. By the rule, vitriyoscha dhamui, 5-3-45. So instead of dha, we have dham, and the derivative is dvaidham. Dvaidham is the same as dvidha. Dvaidham karangataha, dvaidham bhuyagataha, dvaidham kutvagataha, and dvaidham bhavangataha. So all these expressions, they must have existed in the language that was known to Pani. This much we can infer from the rule. Pratyaya grahanam kim? Hiruk krutvagataha and pruthak krutvagataha. So in case of hiruk and pruthak, which both of which mean the same as separately, and therefore they convey the same meaning as na saho, which is the meaning of na. But since they don't end in a pratyaya, there is no samasa. There is no samasa. So krutva is there, but hirukrutya is not possible. Hirukaram is not possible. Hirukrutvagataha, pruthakrutvagataha. And yes, chvyarthe iti kim? Nana krutva kasthani gataha, not kandani. So he went away by separating the wood or woods. Maybe they were, no, but here there is no chvartha. Nana krutva kasthani gataha. So maybe he split them. They were not together, but there was just one kashta, and then he made one into many. Nana krutva kasthani gataha. Oh, no. Sorry. Padamanjari gives a very different interpretation. Padamanjari says, Purvameva nana santi kasthani anyatra krutva gata. Well, I don't like this interpretation, of course. So he means that they were nana already. That means they were pruthak. They were not together. Nana krutva kasthani gataha. So nana kasthani actually krutva gata. This has to be the anvaya. So there were nana kashtas, so no chvartha is intended. Anana nana krutva nagata. Nana kasthani asan. Tani krutva gataha means he put them at some other place. Anyatra krutva gataha. This is a very far-fetched meaning, in my opinion. Nana krutva kasthani gataha. Well, there is a lot of scope for imagination for all the students of Panini to apply your imagination to understand the meanings of these expressions. But I won't dare anymore. Dhartham arthagrahanam na punah eka evu. So this arthagrahana is meant for dha. Vinay bhyam nanayu is not the only suffix which is intended here. Na punah ekam eva. Eka eva. So as I said, it is dha, it is then it is dhami. See, the artha grahana is connected with only dha. It has nothing to do with vinayabhyam nanayo. We have already seen it because there is no another suffix which is of the same meaning as na or nai. Therefore, he makes it clear that artha, the word artha in the sutra is connected only with dha and not with nanaya. Then the next rule is tushnimi bhuvaha. Tushnim shabde upapade bhavatehe dhatoho tvarnamulau pratyayo bhavataha. Tushnim is an avyaya, indeclinable. It means quietly, silently, without making noise. And here again the expression tushnimi is anukarana shabda. If we take it as an indeclinable, we cannot justify the locative ending tushnimi. It will remain as tushnim even in the locative. So this is anukarana shabda. Tushnimi ityasya ka artha tushnim shabde upapade. Bhavatehe dhatu. Bhuvaha, he says. Tushnimi bhuvaha. So the earlier context is discontinued and only bhu is intended here. Therefore, he has to mention bhuvaha in the rule. Otherwise, both will continue, would continue. So, bhavater dhatu tvanamulo pratyayo bhavataha tushnim bhuya tushnim bhutva tushnim bhavam. It's okay. We have come across this particular expression in Sanskrit literature, tushnim bhuya. So keep in quiet. And then we have a samasa here. Bhu grahanam kruyo nivrityartham. The repetition of bhu is meant to discontinue kruying. And finally, we have the rule anavacyanulomye. Anavak shabde upapade. Bhavatehe dhatoho anulomye ktvarnamulo bhavataha. So the meaning is anulomya, anuloma. Anulomya means proper order, proper arrangement, natural order. You know this anuloma and pratiloma in Dharma Shastra. Anulomyam, anulomata, anukulatvam. So it is also understood to convey being friendly, anukulatvam, being favorably, behaving favorably or being favorable. Parichittanuvidhanam. This pari is slightly difficult for me to understand. Is it parachittanuvidhanam? It should be, because that then only we can explain anukulatva. Anuvidhana means acting in conformity, acting with in accordance with another's mind. So acting in order to please someone, and that someone is para. And therefore parichitta anuvidhanam is something which I really could not understand, and nor do I find any explanation of this parichitta in the commentaries here.
It's probably only a mistake. The Usmani edition also has parachitta.
Ah, good. So here it is a mistake. Good, good. I haven't checked that. Parachittanuvidhanam is correct then. Okay. So now you understood the meaning. Anavak bhuya aste, anavak bhutva aste, anavak bhavam aste. So he stays acting in conformity, he stays acting so as to please the other. He is acting favorably, you can say. Anavak bhuya aste. Anulomya iti kim? Anavak bhutva tishtati. Anavak is interpreted in the commentary as prushtataha bhutva. Agrataha, parshvataha, prushtataha va. anukulo bhutva tishtati. No, here it is anvagguya. Tadmanjari says anvag bhutva ityasya artha prushtato bhutva. So there is no anukulatva or anukulatva. Like an anuchara, he says, like a servant. As a servant follows his master. So this anvag bhutva refers to a servant or somebody who is very similar to a servant who follows somebody. Anucharo bhutva. So we have come to the end of this section dealing with Ktva and Namul. Actually, Namul, we haven't read that section which precedes this. There are so many rules dealing with Namul. So it's a very last section, in fact. And quite a few of them, with a very few exceptions, they are compounded. They are samasas. Samasa with Namul is taught by Panini. Maybe first we finish with Chandra rules which are parallel with these, and then we switch over to Kashika. Is it okay? Maybe if somebody should say it is okay, and also
Yes.
Yeah, but if there is any question, maybe I wait for 5 minutes. As usual, I have been very fast. Well, you have to find out if there is in the chat box who wants to ask him.
Yes.
No, I think there
I
are
think-
no questions.
Yeah, no questions is.
Yeah.
Okay. So we switch over to Chandra, rule number 41 to 41. We have finished this section dealing with Gati Savnya and Samasa with Gati Savnyakas with the rule 40, which is Jivika Upanishadau Aupamni. And now this context begins. Asankyam va anabhipretakyane tuk. Asankyam subantam karotina kvantena anekartham va bhavati. Anabhipretam ched akhyanam bhavati. Now, May, do you want me to explain the meaning of all this? Because now, only a few minutes ago, I have explained the relevant rule in Kashika or the parallel rule in Kashika. Do you think it is necessary to explain each and every word from Chandra?
I mean, we can do some maybe, yeah, but I think some rapid reading. That maybe it would be still good to see the Chandra maybe for our students. So bit rapid reading, but I mean we need not go into the details. But I think which you already explained. So just a kind of a rapid reading.
Okay. Asankyam subantam karotina kvantena anekartham va bhavati. Asankyam subantam avyaya ending in sup pratyaya is compounded with when it is when the intended meaning is anabhipreta akhyana. Another expression which is other than what is intended. Again the same example. Brahmana putraste jatah kindari vrushal niche kritva achakshe niche kritya achakshe. Here we have a samasa niche krityo. Uchchair nama priyam akhyayam anabhipretakyane iti kim uchchaihi kritva. When it refers to the fact, uchchaihi kritva or abhipreta, then there is no samasa. When there is an abhipreta akhyana, then samasa takes place. And when samasa takes place, obviously tva is substituted by lyap, and therefore we have the expression nichai krityo as a samasa. Whereas nichaihi and krutva are to be used, are to be written as separate words. There is one more thing which is absent in Chandra, and that is the reference to the suffix namul. We have both ktva and namul in Panini, whereas it is only ktva. I don't think, clearly namul is not even continued here. So that is a major difference between Chandra and Panini. And therefore we don't have the third example, Nicheh Karam. Then the next tool is Tiryak Samapto. So this is Tiryach Apavarge. Tiryak Shabdaha Samaptau Karotina Ktwantena Ekartho Bhavati. The word Tiryak is compounded with a plant of Karoti or the root screw in the sense of Samapti, accomplishment. Tiryakrutya Tiryakrutva. Samaptau iti kim? Tiryakrutva Kandam Gata. So Chandra prefers Kanda to Kashtha. Then the next tool is Swanga Tas Nadhartham Bhuva. So 2 or 3 rules, maybe 2 rules put together. Swangat Yatas Tarantam Nartham Dhartham Cha Karotina Bhavatina Cha Tvantena Ekartham Bhavati. So it's always the Uttarapada is Krutva. And the Upapada is Swanga ending in the suffix tas, or a word ending in na, or a word ending in dha. And here he connects artha with both na and dha, whereas in Panini, artha is connected only with dha. Nartham dhartham cha. So it means that the word ending in na conveying the meaning of na, and the word ending in dha conveying the meaning of dha. This is how we have to understand it, because there is no other suffix which is of the same meaning as na. Mukhatah krutya achaste. Mukhatah krutva achaste. So can you understand any meaning from this? Maybe from Panjiga or some other commentary. Mukhatah krutya achaste. Mukhatah kim krutva achaste? Or facing. Does it mean facing?
Or maybe he's keeping something in his mouth and speaking. Maybe like a Bengali people keeping rasgulla in a mouth and then I don't know. We have to imagine.
Why you go as far as Bengal? Actually, we also keep, betel nut, or even some we gulp water and keeping the water in the mouth. We speak sometimes, which is condemned in shikshas.
Yes, something like that. Something like that.
I really don't know. In that case, we need a karmam, and the word mukhata has to be interpreted in the locative. So jalam mukhe krutva achaste, rasagullam mukhe krutva achaste. Do you find Shantipriya any explanation of this in your Panjika? Then further, more strange is this Mukhato Bhuya Gata. Mukhato Bhutva Gata. Gata Achaste. Chandra gives at least the verb form, Achaste, whereas Kashika is completely silent over the word, the other word. Maybe if you find it later, you can tell us. Okay, shall we go ahead? Shantipriya can reply.
Yeah. There is nothing exactly about the meaning of the example, as far as I see. There is only some points about the derivation, and also something about the na artam, which we have here, unlike the Paninians.
Acha, okay. Nar. Okay, let us complete this commentary. Maybe we find something interesting there.
Sorry. With regard to the affix namuru, we can see the same examples in the 13150. नीचा ही कारण आचष्टे उच्च ही कारण आचष्टे इति gaina siddham. So it means the such word forms are accomplished by guy, isn't it?
What is the number of the rule you say?
150.
In Kashika?
No, in the Chandra.
Chandra.
He's referring to a rule in the Chandra because
What is
it doesn't use.
Namni graha adishach.
Oh. So that refers to actually namul. Namnya rishigraho. It teaches the suffix namul in Ashtadhyay. And I think Chandra also gives the same example. Namagraham achaste, isn't it? That is the example. Nama desham achaste, namagraham achaste.
In the Vritti we have nichai karam achaste, uchai karam achaste iti ganya siddham.
Now, achaste is also there. But what is the meaning of achaste here in Mukhataf Krutya achaste? That was the question. There it is well explained. Because there niche karam, niche krutva means.
My question here is, Dragomir and Chojan, is it written together as a compound, Niche Karam Achaste, or is it kind of written as separate words? Because I think in this particular rule here, I think he has not included namul, right? Only twa, isn't it? In our samasa rule, twa.
In the samasa rule, we do not have namul. But what Chojan was referring to is the fact that in the vritti, in Chandra vritti on namni graha adishach 1350, the last one, where we have the namul bhavati. There, of course, he writes it separate. With a space, niche kritva.
Yeah, so for Chandra with namul, there is no compound. As Paninian tradition, as Kashika says, there is a compound with namul, but according to it seems that the Chandra people, or the Chandra tradition, there is no compound in this case.
Yeah, there is of course a compound.
That's the only difference, I think.
So unlike niche kritva, we have niche kritya iti ktva api bhavati. Evam tirek karam, tirek space kritva, or tirek kritya. Mukkata karam as a compound, and mukkata kritva with a space, and then again as a compound mukkata kritya. All these things are under 1350 in the Chandra.
My conjecture is that Chandra doesn't speak of compound with karam because he doesn't find any advantage in making it a samasa. Because the only advantage of making a samasa with karam is ekapadatva or aikaswarya. There is no question of swara in Chandra. And ekapadatva or anekapadatva simply doesn't matter. It's only when you write them as two separate words or as one single word is the matter. But that really doesn't affect the meaning of the whole sentence. Therefore, Chandra did not bother to include all namulantas in samasa prakaran. Perhaps.
Just one comment here. Though in the present edition now of the Chandra, whatever is available to us, we don't have a section on the accent. But in fact, now when we are studying the commentaries, even in Vritti sometimes, there are mentions of some rules of accent. So it seems that there was probably, as we have now also kind of come to this conclusion, during our study, Dragomir and Chochan and myself, that it seemed that there was certainly a section on accent existing, but somehow when it was the text was transmitted, probably that was transmitted without the section, and we only have the first 6 chapters. So probably there was another chapter on accent, which is no more available to us. I mean, we have also kind of found a quotation of certain sutras from that section in the commentaries when they provide derivations. So yeah, that is one additional information.
Oh, yeah, but in that case, then we have to explain why Chandra doesn't talk of samasa with Namul. If he believes in, or if he accepts accent as a part of the language, which are not there.
Dragomir, this thing I think you can check whether Panjika has any explanation for why Chandra excludes Namul here in this rule. The rule where it is first mentioned.
Yeah, we have to see exactly the place where we have now. Actually, it is in 3459 in Panini, where we have the Namul, and so in the commentary on the corresponding sutra, which is actually the 2237. Sorry, the 2241. I was looking at it, but he doesn't seem to be mentioning the matter about Namul. If I find something, I'll let you know. It's
Okay.
interesting, but it's not a very long commentary on 41, unfortunately. I'll let you know if I see something on Namul here.
Okay. So then I go further. We finished with this rule, Swangat Tasnadharthe Bhuva Chu. Then Tushnim. Tushnim ityetad bhuvatina tvantena ekartam bhavati. So here karoti context is over and bhavati context is given. And it continues from the previous rule, bhuvacho. Tushnim, the indeclinable tushnim is compounded with tvanta bhuvati. So tushnim bhuya and tushnim bhutva. And then the last sutra in this particular context is anvag anukulye. Anvag ityetad bhavatina tvantena ekartham va bhavati anukulye gamyamane anvag bhuya aste and anvag bhutva. Anukulye iti kim anvag bhutva tishtati shatruhu. So shatruhu prishtatah bhutva tishtati. We just read this sutra anvag chapovar. Is it the same? No, anvachi anulomye. And again here we find both Namul and Ktva, whereas Namul is absent here in Chandra. So we have only 2 examples, Anvag Bhuya, Anvag Bhutva. Whereas Kashika views Anvag Bhavam also. And Anvag Bhutva Tishtati Shatru, very clear meaning, Shatru stands at the back. Tishtataha, Tishtati. So with this, we come to the end of this section dealing with Samasa Vitaktvanta in Chandra. And what we have found here is the major difference between Chandra and Kashika is about the inclusion and non-inclusion of the other suffix Namul. Then you have to find out whether Chandra deals with Namul in some other place. Then shall we continue with Kashika? I don't know what time is. My mobile doesn't show the time here.
No, we still have time. It's 6:05 right now, so we still have 25 minutes. Yeah, we can.
Okay. So we finished with Upapada Mating last time, I think. Yes, 19 from Kashika. Kashika 2 to 19. Let me find out 2 to 20. Yes, 2 to 20 is Maiva Avyayenu. So this section actually begins with Namul and not Twa. So another difference between Chandra and Kashika, or Panini rather. So Panini prescribes or teaches samasa with first, and then subsequently he comes to Twa. Purvenaiva samase siddhe niyamartham vachanam amaiva avyayenu. So Purvenaiva samase siddhe here means that samasa is already taught by the earlier rule, that is upapadam, ating. Atingantam and upapadam, they are compounded together. This is all, upapada section. Ktva, all these pratyas, they are taught in this section dealing with or describing, mentioning upapadas. Avyayena upapadasya yas samasaha saha amaiva bhavati. He was referring to ating earlier, but he wasn't referring to avyaya. Avyaya is a small group from these ating or krut suffixes. Panini, which is that twa tosun kasunaha and krun mejantaha. These are the two rules I remember straight away, which give avyaya savnya to krudantas ending in ktwa, tosun, kasun, ending in ma, and ending in h. Krun mejantaha and ktwa, tosun, kasuna. So these are a few krut suffixes, ending in which the derivative becomes an avyaya. So here he says that if at all there is any samasa with ating avyaya, that ating avyaya is eva, na anyena avyayena samasah bhavati. Avyayena upapadasya yas samasah saha amaiva bhavati na anyena. And thus the example is swadumkaram bhunte, sampannankaram bhunte, and lavanankaram bhunte. For swadumkaram, there is a rule, swadumi namul. Probably I have mentioned it in my previous paper. Talat, can you find it out? I don't have that paper with me, but most probably I have already mentioned it in my earlier display paper. Or anyone can find it.
Now, yeah, the earlier paper. 1 minute, please. No, this is the today's, yeah. No, these are today's papers. Just I'm checking it.
That is the ready reference for the field. In fact, there is a last section teaching namul as the suffix, which is, as I said, an apovada of twa, samana kartruka yoga purvakale, and then after a couple of rules begins the section which teaches namul in different context, and this section continues up to rule 58. And in many meanings and in many contexts, this suffix is taught. So one such rule is Swadumi Namul 3426. If you don't find, forget about it. But a big memory test is last I had shown this Swadumi Namul, which is a rule in which the word Samana Kartukoyu Purva Kale, all these words are continued, because that rule is 3421 and this one is 3426. And it is obviously an apavada of pa. So when Swadum Avyaya is an upapada, the suffix namul is added. Swadumi upapade namul pratyayah bhavati samanakartrutayoho purvakale, etc. And the example is swadum karam bhunte. The swadum is mentioned as ending in mu, and therefore commentators say that it is a kind of a nipatana. So it has to be accepted as a nipatana. Nyasa says swadumi ityetasmadev manta nirdeshad upapadasya makarantatvam nipatyate. Because we know the word swadu. Swadu as an adjective. But here it is swadum. Swadum krutva bhunte. But we don't have the expression swadum krutva because namul is an exception.
Yes,
Of,
ma'am. Hello. Yeah, please, you
yes.
can see now. Yeah, here it is.
At the,
Swadumi, yeah, 3426. Yeah, on the paper.
very good. So a few more rules also are mentioned.
Swadum Namule. Yeah.
Okay, very good. And thus we have swadumkaram as a samasa by this rule. And further, sampannamkaram and lavanamkaram also are derived by this rule because they are of the same meaning as swadum or swadu. And here the commentary says swadumiti. Yeah, Kashika itself is on the rule 3.4.26. Swadumiti arthagrahanam. So the word swadu refers not only to, or swadum, refers not only to the expression swadum, but it refers to all the words which convey the same meaning as swadum. And therefore we have sampannankaram. Swadu means sweet, savory, tasteful. And sampanna originally means rich, but also it denotes the meaning dainty or perfect. Similarly, lavanankaram, lavana also is, salt is always used for adding to the taste if it is used in proportion, of course. So, lavana also means lovely, beautiful, but here the context is taste. So making it tasty. So perhaps you know the story from Puranas about Shri Krishna, Satyabhama and Rukmini. So Satyabhama, who was not very happy with Shri Krishna loving Rukmini, and she asked Shri Krishna, whom do you love more, me or my co-wife, my co-wife, that is Rukmini. And then he says, of course you. And then he asks his cook, he says, you are as pleasing to me as lavana in the food. And then he asks his cook not to put salt in any food item. And then everybody is complaining there is no lavana in the food, and they are not happy with the food that day. And then Shri Krishna goes to Satyabhama and tells her, this is the meaning when I say you are as dear to me as lavana. Because Satyabhama gets angry when he says you are as dear to me as lavana. Some such stories, stupid stories are there. Lavanankaram bhunte. Amaiva itikim. Why ama eva and no other? So there is another makaranta. Avyaya kala samaya velasu tumun. So we have another suffix which ends in ma but not and that is tumun. Tumun is added to roots when kala, samaya or vela is upapada. And thus we have the expression kalo bhoktum. It's time to eat. Here we don't have a samasa because it is not amanta. It is umanta or tumanta. Evakarakaranam upapada visheshanartham. Evakarakaranam, the word eva mentioned in the rule, amaiva, is meant to qualify the upapada. Upapada visheshanartham. And how does it qualify upapada? Amaiva yat tulya vidhanam upapadam. Tasya samaso yatha syat. Amacha anyena cha yat tulya vidhanam tasya mabhu. So this rule applies only and only to that upapada which is stated along with alone. And upapada which is stated along with and maybe some other suffix is not included in the area of this rule. That means it is not compounded. Amaiva yat tulya vidhanam upapadam. It means that whenever there is a rule teaching namul, there is only another suffix. I think it is khamui, perhaps, yeah, which precedes namul, which is amanta. Otherwise, it is namul always. So any rule which teaches namul and no other suffix along with namul, and that other suffix is always ktwa. So if there is a rule which teaches twa and namul together, as we have seen earlier, avyaye yathabhipreta kyane kriya twanamulav. So it is not amaiva tulya vidhan. It is ama namulena cha, or no, amak twante ktvaya cha. How to derive the instrumental of twa? Twa pratyayena cha tulya vidhanam. So whenever there is a rule teaching only namul with an upapada, this rule covers such cases. Amaiva yat tulya vidhanam upapadam tasya samaso bhavati amacha anyena cha yat tulya vidhanam tasya ma bhut. So in case of agre bhuktva agre bhojam, we have both the suffixes ktva and namul taught by the rule vibhasha agre pratama purveshu. Vibhasha, optionally, agre, pratama and purv are the upapadas, but the suffixes are tva and namul. So this is not amaiva tulya vidhana. And therefore, agre bhuktva and not agre bhujya. Similarly, we don't have agre bhojam as a samasa. And therefore, you will find in Kashika, agre and bhojam are written separately. Tritiya Prabhu, yes, let me see if there is any commentary here. No commentary, but I have checked this namul section further and I have found many other examples which are not given here. But as I said earlier, the whole namul section deals with different contexts and very interesting meanings also, and it makes a very interesting reading. And all this is covered by amaiva avyayena, this one rule. So examples of other samasas with namul would be anyatha karam, katham karam, and two more examples which I find interesting are kanya darsham varayati, by the rule karmani drushyavido sakalye, which is 3.29, and the commentary explains yam yam kanyam pashyati tam tam varayati. So whosoever he sees, whosoever girl he sees, he likes that girl tam tam varayati for his match, for his wife. Yam yam kanyam pashyati tam tam varayati. Kanya darsham varayati. And then udara puram bhunkte, charmodaryoho pure 31. Udara puram bhunkte, he eats to the filling of his stomach, or to his what do you say, satisfaction, content. Similarly, jiva graham grunhati, he takes his life. Jiva graham grunati. So in all these cases, we have samasas. Though he gives only one example here of swadum, we have many other examples. Then, no, there is nothing more. This agre, I quoted the rule vibhasha agre prathama purveshu, which is 3-4-24. Now the next tool is tritiya prabhutini anyatarasyam. Here also amaiva is continued. So he says amaiva iti anuvartate upadamshas tritiyayam ityatah prabhuti yani upapadani tani amaiva avyayena sah anyatarasyam samasyante. So those upapadas belonging to the one in the instrumental tritiya prabhutini are stated with reference to alone are compounded. So there is a small section of rules beginning with 3-4-43. I think I have mentioned it. Why did you take away the paper? There are a few more examples. There is this rule. Upadamshas trutiyayam. I'm sure I have mentioned it.
Yes,
You
yes,
should,
ma'am.
yeah,
Yeah.
new today's paper.
Don't take
Yes,
away the
yes,
paper.
yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
1 minute. Yeah.
Not that paper.
Please, yeah.
So the rule is Upadamshas trutiyayam. This is 3-4-43. Where the word Trutiyayam is mentioned, and here when the rule says Trutiya Prabhrutini, this is a reference to this rule. And following rules also talk about the suffix namul with different upapadas ending in a few other cases like Saptami, etc. So here, Upadamshas Trutiyayam, in this rule, Upadamsha means bite. Damsha means to bite. So when we eat, sometimes we bite something to add to the taste. We take a bite of something like, say, radish to enhance the taste of the food. And I think such things we find not only in India but also in the West, and those Western scholars who are sitting here, they can also corroborate. So particularly in India, in village side, you will find they use some kind of upadamsha, like, even chili. While eating, they take a small bite of chili or ginger or onion, radish, so something which is pungent or hot in taste. This is upadamsha. And that upadamsha is used in the instrumental. Mulakena upadasya bhukte. This is the sentence. So mulaka is radish. So he eats taking a bite of mulaka. So the bites of such food items, they work as appetizers or they work as enhancers of appetite. This is what is understood by the word upadamsha in the rule upadamsha trutiyayam. And upadamsha is a krut form used to describe namulanta actually. Damsha is a root belonging to bhadi. So the ready namulanta, you can say, except this is mentioned here in the rule upadamsha trutiyaya. So mulakena upadasya bhumte mulakopadamsham bhumte. So taking or ardrakopadamsham bhumte. Taking a bite of radish or ginger, he eats. And therefore here he says upadamsha trutiyayam ityatah pravruti yani upapadani तानि अमैव अव्ययेन सह अन्यतरस्यां समस्यन्ते तत्पुरुषस्य समासो भवति उभयत्र विभाषा इयं यद् अमैव तुल्य विधानम् उपपदं तस्य प्राप्ते यथा उपदंशस्तृतीयायां यत् पुनः अमा अन्येन च तुल्यविधानं तस्य अप्राप्ते. So in both the cases the samasa takes place and therefore it is prapta and aprapta vibhasha. Yet amaiva tulya vidhanam, in that case it is prapta vibhasha because amaiva tulya vidhanena samasaha by the rule 20 is already established. Whereas because he says anyatarasyam तृतीय उपदंश तृतीयायाम इत्यतः प्रभृतीयानि उपपदानि तानि अमैव अव्ययेन सह अन्यतरस्यां समस्यन्ते. And this implies that even when is mentioned, Arnamul is mentioned with some other suffix, the samasa optionally takes place. Yat punaha amacha anyena cha tulya vidhanam tasya aprapte. Of course, this is the interpretation which is given by the commentaries and we have to rely on it. Yatha avyaye yathabhipreta asti. It has to be ayatha. Avyaye ayathabhipretakyane kriyaha tvarnamulo. This is an example he gives here, which we have already seen. Tva and namul are added to a root kru, to the root kru, when an avyaya is an upapada and when ayathabhipretakyana is intended. So we know the examples uchchaikaram achaste, nichaikaram achaste from the earlier rule. From 3-4 we have already studied. So this is an example of aprapta vibhasha. So mulakopadamsham bhungte and mulakena upadamsham bhungte. Both expressions are possible. Similarly, uchchaih karam achaste and uchchaihi karam achaste. Samasa and asamasta example expression. Ama ityeva paryapti vachaneshu alamartheshu. Paryaptaha bhoktum. Paryapti vachaneshu alamartheshu. Upapadeshu. This rule teaches tumun. It is from 3-4-66. Perhaps it is given on my paper. Paryaptaha bhoktum and alam bhoktum. So paryapti refers to fitness, capability, and synonyms of paryapta are actually here intended when he says paryapti vachaneshu alamartheshu tumun. This is a pratyudaharan actually. So here we have tumun and not namul, which is used with paryapti vachanas and which conveys the meaning alam, that is enough, sufficient. Paryapta bhoktum or alam bhoktum. So there is no compounding of paryapta or alam because the avyaya which follows is bhoktum. It is tumanta and not namulanta. Paryapti vachaneshu alamartheshu paryapto bhoktum prabhur bhoktum and so on. And then the next tool is tvacha. So here comes tva at the end of this avyaya section. Amaiva iti purvayoge anuvrittam tena anyatra na prapnoti iti vachanam arabhyate. Since the earlier context is restricted only to avyaya, here is a special rule dealing with tva. Anyatra na prapnoti iti vachanam arabhyate. There is a special independent statement for tva. Tva pratyena sah tritiya prabhrutini upapadani अन्यतरस्याम समस्यन्ते तत्पुरुषश्च समासो भवति. So also the samasa is also possible with tvanta, which was not stated by earlier rules, and thus we have uchcheh kritya, uchcheh kritva, and this is how the word samase anay purve tvolyak, the word samasa in that rule is justified. So tva becomes lyak only in samasa, and thus we have examples of like uchcheh kritya, etc. Avyaye ayathabhipretakhyaane iti ktva pratyayah samasa pakshe lyabeva, obviously. Tritiya prabhurtini ityevo. So ktva only when it is preceded by the upapadas beginning with tritiya or tritiyanta, mulakena, etc. Only in that context there is a samasa with ktva. That also we have seen earlier. And in that case, there is always lap in place of tva. Alam krutva, khalu krutva. Here samasa doesn't take place because alam khalvo pratishedhayoho tva. This is the rule for alam and khalu. And they do not come under the area or within the area of Tritiya Prabhuti. And therefore there is no samasa alam krutva, khalu krutva. Alam khalvo pratishedhayoh pracham tva is a rule 3-4-18. So here the section dealing with samasa with krudanta, which is an avyaya, ends. Now we have seen that as far as I remember, there are only 2 rules, but you can correct me and you can add to my counting of these suffixes. Only tva, tosun, kasun, and which I mentioned earlier, tva, tosun, kusunaha.
Krunme janta.
That's all. So ma, age, that age is again Vedic. Similarly, tosun, kasun are Vedic. So only tvanta and makaranta among all the krudantas. These are the only 2 kruts where there is a possibility of samasa, and even among these, tva becomes lap, so tva disappears in samasa, and among the amantas, it is namul, alone, which is entitled to be compounded, and not tumun. Yes, only tumun, which is there among the krudantas, which is makaranta, krunmejanta. So this is all about this kind of a samasa, and now we have to switch over to Shesho Bahuvrihi.
Yeah, I think we can stop here for today because time is up, and I think it's a good point to stop because now we are entering to the new samas, and I think Bahuvri probably will require more explanation. So I think what when should we meet next? What is your
Yes,
planning?
Saturday is okay for me, Mahesh.
Okay, so